I'm not sure what's going on. I think maybe my battery died. Oh, and this here is just old newspaper paper. Let's see if it flashes again. Tells me my battery's gonna die. We'll just keep going. If my camera shuts off, I'll use my phone. You need a vise. I've just got a small one here. And try and do this without knocking the tripod. Trying to get it to roughly where you're going to need it. That way when you do throw it in here, you don't have to mess around with seeing how long it's going to take. And you'll want an area that you can let this epoxy drip, because it is going to drip out of the handle. And it will make a mess, so keep that in mind. Alright, that's starting to tighten up. I can slide that in there. Let's see if I can get it a bit snugger, a bit more snug, so I can just slide it in and tighten it, because once you actually get this epoxy in place, it's not that fun to deal with. I'm going to lock this vise in this position here. It's not telling me my battery's dying. I don't know why it shut off earlier. Alright, as you can see, I've labeled the inside. Actually, both of them are labeled inside. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. And we'll bring it over here. Get our epoxy. Hopefully this didn't bond. This is kind of an older tube. If this stuff's no good, I do have some new epoxy. Okay, that's should be good. And then you're going to need equal parts. And this stuff never comes out equal. And then I like to, after you pump it, or get what you need out of the syringe, I like to pull it back a little so that I can recap it. And this stuff will get all over your hands. If you have gloves, I would recommend using them. Mix it up real good. And then I like to let it sit for a second and get kind of tacky. I find it makes it a little easier to work with. Oh, and make sure you're doing this in a well-ventilated area. I have my window open right now. Mix it up really good. And then we're going to start setting the scales. We'll do, I think it's this top one first we'll do. Okay. Well, I'm going to get a good portion of it. I usually get about half. And you really want to just get it on there nice and thick. It will squeeze out, but it needs to be able to adhere to it. And this metal is kind of, I've ground on the handle a bit and roughed it up. The more holes and areas you have this epoxy to fit in, the better. Alright, there's the top. Kind of set that on there. Okay. This is going to be fun because I don't have anything to hold. Well, that'll work. And then you kind of set it so that you're in your little outline of where it's roughed up. And that's another thing, is if you don't, when you vise this, if you're not careful, it will move on you. And if you have any holes, like I've drilled a couple holes in this handle, make sure that you fill them. This is actually a machete that my brother made. Say Knives. I got a video on him and his forge. Go ahead and check that out. Get that all nice and epoxied. And it's not that this stuff is real expensive. I mean, it's a couple bucks a tube, but I do like to use all of it that I dispense just because I don't like wasting. So there's the second half. Sandwich that on there really good. And then make sure you don't have any parts that are sticking out excessively. We'll bring it over to your vise, which I'm not showing you, but I'm having some issue with it. Let me tighten it up. Okay. I like to get it just tight enough that I can start moving things. As you can see, the handle scales are kind of moving on me. I'm going to kind of line those up. And this is a larger blade, so I got to be careful that the blade doesn't actually fall while I'm doing this. Okay. That looks about right. I can see I'm going to have some blades sticking out, but this is a really hard use knife, and that's okay. This stuff takes, to set, it says 5 minutes. I'd leave it in here for about half an hour, and then to cure it does take about 24 hours. So tomorrow, I'll wait till tomorrow to grind all this excess off and to shape it. As you can see, it's starting to puddle up there. I like to take it and kind of work it in, and that'll make sure that any spots that you missed will get some epoxy. And I'll have it drip onto this. This is just an old 2x6 I've mounted this vise to, and this vise is especially for doing handles. That's all I use it for. Oh, excuse me, let me come around to the other side of the camera so I can tighten this. I do like to tighten it as tight as I can. Okay, that looks like it's about all I'm getting out of this. Now let me loosen my vise so I can turn it. That one have a blade sticking out away from my table. If my wife walks by, she doesn't hit it or something. That'll work. And see, it might drip over onto this newspaper paper, but that's why I lined the table like that. So there you go, guys. I'll do another quick video with the other machete. The other machete I'll be doing is this one here. These are both different types of steel. This one here does not rust as bad, so I haven't painted it. This is just literally black Rust-Oleum, just to prevent rusting in the future. So I will show you guys those scales when they're done, and then I'll just kind of all put this in a series of videos. So this is part 2. Appreciate you watching. Have a good one.